Namaskara. My name is Nagaraj, working as a lecturer in Government Polytechnic, Kudligi. Today we are going to discuss about the subject Water Resource Engineering, in 5th semester of Civil Engineering. In Water Resource Engineering, going to discuss about the chapter method of irrigation and water requirement of crops. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the method of irrigation, water strip method of irrigation. Before going to the current session, we will recap what we are learnt in the previous session. In the previous session, we learnt about the system of irrigation, gravity flow irrigation, lift irrigation, perennial and inundation irrigation, difference between difference between lift irrigation and gravity irrigation, and its suitability. Next, advantages and disadvantages of gravity irrigation over lift irrigation. What are the learning objective of this session? We are going to learn about the method of irrigation, surface and subsurface irrigation, border strip method of irrigation, suitability of border strip method of irrigation. After completion of this session, learner will able to know about the surface irrigation, learner will able to know about the subsurface irrigation, learner will be able to know about border strip method of irrigation, learner will be able to know about the suitability of border strip method of irrigation. First we'll see the method of irrigation. Water from the distributary supplied through a outlet to water course or field channel. The water from the field channel may be applied to the field by any one of the following method. This is the irrigation methods. This irrigation method can be classified into various classes. It is surface irrigation, subsurface irrigation, sprinkler irrigation and drip irrigation. This surface irrigation can be further classified into these three: furrow irrigation, contour irrigation and flooding irrigation. This flooding irrigation can be further classified into two types: wild flooding or uncontrolled flooding irrigation. Next one is the controlled flooding irrigation. This controlled flooding irrigation can be further divided into these. One is the free flooding, border strip flooding method, check method, basin method, contour laterals and zigzag methods. The main objective of providing the suitable method of irrigations are as follows. First objective is to reduce the water losses. Distribute the water uniformly over whole area of crop to avoid the waterlogging and soil erosion. Next, choice of the method depending upon the so many factors. First choice is size, shape and slope of the land irrigated. Second choice is soil characteristics. Next one, nature and availability of water supply, type of crops grown, depth of water table, rate of infiltration of the soil, amount of water to be applied during each irrigation. Next, surface irrigation. In all the surface method of irrigation, water is either ponded on the soil or allowed to the soil continuously for the whole duration of irrigation period. What are the advantages of surface irrigation? It helps in storing required amount of water in the root zone depth, allows use of machinery for land preparation, cultivation and harvesting. It helps in uniform application of water to fields. Amount of manual labors required is minimum. What are the disadvantages of surface irrigation? Water is lost in infiltration and deep percolation as well as evaporation also. Less efficiency due to less control over the water flow. Inferior quality crops with low yield. Costly and time consuming in preparation of land or field. Next method is a border strip method. Here this figure shows the border strip method of irrigation. This figure shows the schematic diagram of border strip method. This is the actual diagram where when crop is grown. Here this is the supply channel. From this channel water is supplied. See here, this is called as the borders, also called as levee. This length of border varies from 100 to 300 meter. This is the length of border. It varies from 100 to 300 meter. Next, this series of provided series of strip. Its width varies from this width of this strip varies from 10 meter to 20 meter. This is the strips. This is the border. This border varies from 100 meter to 300 meter. Width varies from 10 meter to 20 meter. These strips separated by low leaves or borders and run down the any desired slope in longitudinally to irrigate in turned from supply ditches to the head of the border. Here in this irrigation strips, discharge varies from 0.014 to 0.028 meter cube per second. The water flow is confined and guided by two borders in thin sheet of water toward the lower end of the dips. Here means through this strips, water is allowed in longitudinal direction with a thin sheet of water. This is guided by the two borders. Surface is essentially level between two borders so that flowing sheet of water covers the entire width of strips. The longitudinal slope varies from 0.2 to 0.8%. This method is suitable for forage crops. Forage crop is to grow the grass for the animals, and relatively low investment. A system can be developed which can be offered the highest irrigation efficiency and lowest labor requirements. flooding, which in this case is difficult to maintain because of the slope. These methods, however, require preparation of land involving high initial cost. Suitability of this method. The border strip method is suitable for soils of moderately low to moderately high intake rates and low erodibility. This method is suitable for all types of crops except those which requires prolonged flooding, which in this case is difficult to maintain because of the slope. This method, however, requires preparation of land involving high initial cost. What are the advantages of this border strip method of irrigation? Utilize large water streams safely, requires less labor and time, low maintenance cost, provides uniform wetting and efficient use of water. Next, disadvantages. It requires proper leveling. It cost high initial cost. A large supply of water is needed. Next one is the subsurface irrigation. This method consists of the supplying water directly to the root zone of crops. What are the favorable conditions for this subsurface irrigation? Impervious subsoil at reasonable depth. Permeable soil such as loam or sandy loam in the root zone of the crop. Uniform topographic conditions. Moderate slopes. Good quality of irrigation water. Subsoil irrigation can be classified as follows. First classification is natural subsurface irrigation. Second classification is artificial subsurface irrigation. In the natural subsurface irrigation, water is supplied to the root zone of crops by controlling the level of local water table. In artificial subsurface irrigation, consists of supplying water directly to the root zone of crops through networks buried perforated pipes. What are the advantages of this subsurface irrigation system? Minimum water requirement for raising the crops. Suitable for most of the crops. Minimum evaporation and deep percolation losses. High crop yield. Most economical method for irrigation. There is no wastage of land. Required minimum labor for preparation of the land. What are its disadvantages? Required a special combination of natural condition so that only limited area are suitable for irrigation by this method. There is danger of waterlogging developments, possibility of choking of underground pipes, high initial cost. Next one is the multiple choice questions. Question number 1. The pharma is divided into series of strips is called border strip method. Option B, sprinkler irrigation method. Option C, furrow irrigation method. Option D, none of the above. Answer is A, border strip method. Question number 2, surface irrigation is furrow irrigation. Option B, contour farming. Option C, flood irrigation. Option D, all of the above. Option D is the answer, means surface irrigation is the all of three irrigations. Question number 3, in border strip method, maintaining slope in longitudinal. Option B, lateral. C, both lateral and longitudinal. D, all of the above. Answer is A, in border strip method, maintain the slope in longitudinal direction. Question number 4, method consists of supplying water directly to the root zone of crops. Surface irrigation, subsurface irrigation. C, both A and B. D, none of the above. Answer is B, subsurface irrigation. Question number 5, water is made to pass under pressure through these underground perforated pipes. Option A, artificial subsurface irrigation. Option B, natural subsurface irrigation. Option C, both A and B. Option D, none of the above. Option A, artificial subsurface irrigation. These are the our team to develop the content. Okay, thank you. If any suggestions, please write us to following email ID, that is lms.dtek@gmail.com. Thank you, one and all.